said unmuted, and then I cleared my throat.
You were tested. You were just checking.
What's up, man?
You know, just hanging out on this snowy winter day.
It's cold, bro.
Well, it's snowy somewhere, not here, but
It is in
Huntsville.
Florence and Huntsville. Yeah,
yeah, man, they got a nice
pretty
little.
Oh my gosh, you ready to get started with a bang?
Man, I'm here because I serve at the pleasure.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Whose pleasure? I don't know, but I will tell you this: I'm glad that you are here. So there's a question that's been going around for quite a while.
Okay.
People have debated it and said it does make a difference or it may not make a difference. I want to ask you, and then everybody else that's watching, hey guys, does social economics play a role in high school sports? And let's dive into that for a minute, because social economics, a lot of people say it plays a significant role in high school sports, right? So like influencing everything from participation rates to athletic performance, athletic facilities, recruitment of colleges or recruitment opportunities. So what are your thoughts on that? And do you see that it does play a huge role?
I think we're being naive if we think it doesn't, right? And not just in athletics, but you could take it to education in general, right? Institutions have more programs, better situations, better computers, better athletic opportunities from equipment to let's talk KAPOW for a second, right? Because that's
I was hoping you would go there.
That's who I'm involved with a lot on a daily basis. So that's what I see is KAPOW is not the typical private Christian school as far as economics, right? There's not a lot of let's be honest, there's a lot of kids there that their parents do everything scrape and claw to get them there because they want that kid to have that education,
right? And
they have trouble putting groceries on the table. So if you want to talk, academically, athletically, then more things go into it than how well these kids do on the field of play, rather basketball, football, baseball, track, whatever it is. And we've noticed that KAPOW, the nutrition program at KAPOW has made an amazing difference in these kids, right? Yeah. And we have several coaches that watch this show and athletic directors and strength and conditioning people. So that's who I want to hear from. Swain Marsh just texted me and said, yes, it does. Capital exclamation point. He would know. He's been he's coached at places that had $0, and he's coached at Pierce County.
they got a couple.
They got $1 or $2 laying around, right? There's something about education lottery, right? So they wanted for nothing. So he's seen both sides of it. But here locally, the nutrition program helped these kids so much, man. Because they may or may not eat breakfast. They're late for school. You get a lunch, and they may not eat anything before practice, have a hard practice, workouts, and that's not the best way to grow your body, develop your body. But KAPOW has done a tremendous job of being sure these kids eat several times. Stop the show. Just stop the show.
Done. Stop right now. Hold on. Stop.
Wesley Quarles is watching?
Wesley Quarles?
What?
My man. We love that dude, man. We miss him.
Dude, man. We were just talking. We were just talking about him the other day. He up and vanished like a fart in the wind. That dude was just gone.
Oh, he just commented. He says social economics definitely play into athletics, starting with youth sports. Hey,
let's talk about youth sports, right?
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, that's where I intentionally stay away from youth sports. To be honest, really, I try to stay away from the youth sports.
You didn't used to.
No, I've never been except when I played youth sports. I mean, as an adult, I stay away from them, mostly because there's so many parents who think they're Nick Saban.
Facts.
And many parents who think their kid is the next kid, and their kid may not even want to play ball.
That makes sense.
Right? They don't have the love for it, and you guys are trying to live, some of you people are trying to live out your fantasies because you sat the bench and didn't get to play. And and pushing your kids
He's going there, huh?
to do things that they're. Oh, he brought a travel ball.
Yeah, we'll keep going, and then we'll get to that. Yeah.
So I tend to try to stay away, but on that guard, in that regard, there's also a tremendous amount of incredible youth league coaches that do it the right way for the right reasons.
Sure.
There is Adam in Oxford down that way.
Okay.
Tyler Stovall. Some of the guys in Atala. I ain't gonna start naming names because
Coach West, Coach Woody, as you call him.
Oh, I love
your buddy.
Woody.
Yeah, he's been over that for a long time.
No,
he does a great job for sure.
So I think that there is a difference, right? I think there is a difference as far as programs who have and then programs who won't.
Okay. Now say that again.
Yeah, I mean,
programs that have and programs that won't.
Exactly right.
So let me ask you, or just kind of throw this out there, and we'll just keep this topic going because there's a lot more to cover on this. We'll just start with youth athletics.
Okay.
Right. So when we were kids, you played in Atala. I played in East Gadsden. Some people played on the mountain. We had it was more region or district type driven, like Wendy's, Dowdy, Easy Curve, Kiwanis.
Hopper Telephone. Jones Sawmill.
Yeah. Hey, some good baseball there. Am South, American National Bank before we were Am South.
Then the football wise,
Putman, Transmission, or whatever they were.
Then the Golden Hawks, Road Runners,
East Gadsden
Tigers, right? So it was all
Mountain Rams.
It was different.
Shout out Troop.
Troop. You gotta stop smile,
hey, brother,
Troop, man.
If anybody coached you like a high school or a college coach during Pee Wee, it was Mitchell Troop, son.
Mitchell didn't care.
He took that serious.
But you know what he had? He didn't have parents coming at him.
You go him.
You're limping back.
It ain't gonna end well.
Bang bang, bang bang.
So in those different types of neighborhoods, I remember we were very fortunate to have Todd Farmer's dad, Coach Farmer. Coach Farmer well before he went on to heaven, and then Dub Hathcock. Those are my teams. We were fortunate to have guys like that would go out and buy us the Black Magics or the Green Eastons or
those two right there. Nothing else needs to be said.
Right,
Black Magic and Green Easton.
Go out and buy the new baseball, practice baseballs from Miss Meadow over there. She'd hook us up, but you still had to pay for them. You ain't get nothing free over there.
Nothing.
You still don't get nothing free.
Nothing.
More so now. We were fortunate, but there were a lot of kids that were not fortunate to have those types of things. They're out there playing with leftovers. Hey, do you guys have any extra balls? Well, we'll give you ours from 5 years ago. Those types of things. Waterlogged, bats that had no pop in it. Do you think that played a part in that? Socioeconomics.
Sure, because parents couldn't afford to do things. There were some kids that couldn't play baseball because their parents couldn't afford to buy them the sweatpants. Back then, you played in sweatpants, right?
Sure.
Back in the day. And there's some good athletes that didn't play because the parents couldn't scrape up enough to get just for the basic stuff. But as a kid playing, we didn't think about those things. We didn't think about what kind of car your parents drove or what kind of house you lived in. Right. It was just kids playing ball. The true love of the game. That's what I remember most, the true love of the game. Now, though, I was watching some video last night about a kid out of Florida. He's known as he goes by Blaze. He's 10 years old, has 20 D1 offers, fastest kid in his age group, being coached with high school kids. It's different now, man.
10 years.
10 years old. 10 years old. Wow. So I look at it two different ways. If my parents would have had the money to invest to get me the personalized training and all those things, how would my career have progressed? Right. And it's like that for a lot of these kids, right? Because I know parents who have second and third jobs just so these kids can play ball and play on different teams.
Right.
Travel ball teams, club ball teams. Not so much of the football, right? On the football stuff, it's more baseball, softball, those kind of things. But man, it's unbelievably expensive. Then you got to have the slide mitts. You got to look a certain way.
Yes.
You got to have the backpacks with the two bats, and you got to just do certain things, right? It feels like that's the way it is. That's also the way it is at church softball leagues these days.
That's so true. So, what do you say to the people that say if the kid has enough athleticism, the schools and opportunities will find them? I think that's true and false. I think if you're playing at a good school, okay, true. But there are a lot of kids that we know in our past and even now more so that don't have, they're at low income schools. They're at schools that just don't have the equipment, don't have the facilities, they can't pay for the coaches to bring in top tier coaches, to give them the facilities and everything, the access that they need.
Sure.
And they're kids that are running 4.40s that are, 220 pounds, that are chiseled, that are, kids can jump out of the building. Kid can throw the ball 55, 60 yards on the run. You got kids that are throwing low 90s that could probably develop a curveball if somebody would work with them.
Sure.
But they don't get that exposure. What do you say to that? Does that play a part?
It is a part, but if you're good enough, they will find you. And that used to 100% be the way.
It was 82 in Little League. That's funny.
But comparing apples to apples, if you're at a program that's going to develop you more, if we're talking football, right? The camps is where you get looked at. I knew a kid. He ended up at Alabama as a receiver this year from Bishop Gorman High School, one of the big schools out there. Last year, his numbers were horrible.
Okay.
But he jumps out of the building. His catch radius is unreal. His 40 time he's 6'5", and runs a low 4.5, high 4.4. He caught 4 touchdown passes and like 600 yards, but he's a 5-star recruit.
Okay.
It's more than numbers, right? And you don't get a bigger stage than IMG, Bishop Gorman, the Trinity League in California. But this kid, Derek Meadows, committed to LSU, flipped. It was between LSU, Notre Dame, and Alabama. Ended up in Alabama. It's because the camp circuit, because those measurables, no different than the scouting combine.
Okay.
Right, for NFL combine, right? These college kids, best to play, and they set up all these antiquated things for them to go do. I think they're antiquated, right? Last year, probably the best receiver in college football last year, Marvin Harrison Jr. He went to the combine, did the interviews, met with teams, did not participate in one single event. And it's like, why? Well, I'm not a track star. I'm not trying to go to the Olympics.
Right.
I'm a football player.
Okay.
My numbers speak for themselves. I know how to play football. I'm training for football. I'm not training to, for all these other things, the broad jump and these things. I train for football. And he had a heck of a season, right?
Yeah, sure he did.
Hey, we got Coach Naismith just jumped on here. Hey, Coach, we're talking being a strength, you're a football coach. You also do strength and conditioning. Maybe you can coach me with speech impediment too.
He doesn't do occupational therapy.
Let's talk about how important nutrition is for these kids and for kids in lesser areas or lesser programs that can't afford to have a nutrition.
Yeah, he can speak to that for sure.
He can do it. Teddy Whitmire can speak to it.
So going back as we're waiting for them to respond, and which they will because these guys are on top of it.
Yeah.
Going back to those camps, going back to those type of combine-ish type programs, does it not take people with a know-how to get these kids in there? Now let me say this. What about a kid that goes, and God, I'm not going to throw off on a school because we represent a lot of them, but say a 3 or 4A inner city school that is very, very poverty stricken. Okay, and we know a couple of them, right?
Sure.
That their football programs have always been lackluster.
I'm sorry, Coach says it's probably the most important.
Sure, it is. I mean,
makes sense.
Sure, it is. Does that play a part? The social economics play a part in getting those kids to those camps.
Camps aren't free.
Right.
Camps aren't free.
Who pays for those? Is it parents, or can touchdown clubs get involved?
Sure, they can. There's no. Yeah, I mean, your school. Again, I say that there are free camps, right?
Okay.
There are some free camps out there. So let me put that.
Okay.
But
that gets you looked at like those.
Correct.
Okay.
But then you got recruiting services that also get your kids.
Is that free?
No, proper calorie intake as well as protein.
Boy,
I tell you, he's high level. He knows it for
yeah.
sure. So like you can hire companies to come and help just recruit you, help get you recruited. We've had him on. I used to have him on the radio show. We've had him on the show here before too. Yep. NRS recruiting. We can probably should get him on again. It's been several years. They're very picky about who they take. Okay. They have certain kind of kids that they like to. This one company likes to do, but it's about getting your film in the right people's hands. Two marginal athletes, Jeff. Let's just say two marginal athletes. I say marginal. Two equal athletes.
Here goes with the anecdotals, and I like.
Let's say two equal athletes, right? One goes to let's say a Westbrook. Okay. Keep it local. I'm just here, right? And I don't know that Westbrook isn't the standard when it comes to campuses. And that's including some colleges, to be honest with you, right?
Sure.
And then let's go to, say, Norris High School back in the day, right? That they got to do something with that building, by the way.
You mean the one that played at the old jail?
Yeah, exactly. So let's just say that a coach is going to come. Say Nick Saban comes in, comes towards your campus, talking to your kids, sees the kind of equipment you're using, sees everything you're doing. Then he goes to Norris High School,
right?
We'll say, and ain't nothing there. Right.
Okay.
Who's he going to take the chance on? The kids that they have trainers there. They know they're taking care of their bodies. Who have strength and conditioning coaches like Coach Naismith, who are preparing these kids on how to keep from getting injured. Right. That's part of it. Right. Nutrition is a great part of it, but also knowing how to work out and do the things to take care of your body.
So pause right there. Don't lose that thought. Now, Coach Naismith is one of the type of people you talking to me about him. And then we know Teddy Whitmire, we know Coach O'Brien, we know Steve Smith, all of those people that are involved in those programs.
Yeah.
They teach their kids nutrition. Sure. It's not just about, hey, here, put this in your body, come by and get you food. It's they're teaching them for the long haul, not just here in the nasty now and now. It's we're teaching you how nutrition plays a role in what you're doing, right? Would that be a fair statement?
100%.
Okay, keep going. Yep.
And let's talk Jay Allen Terry for a second. Right.
Hey.
Jay Allen Terry, stud athlete, been hurt.
What'd you say he was in the state right now?
I just looked it up.
40s?
Yeah, he's like the 45th, 46th ranked kid in Alabama right now. Coming off ACL injury, coming from you called that, by the way.
I told you. You ain't watching.
Coming off an ACL injury, top 45 kid in the state of Alabama, coming from a huge program in Tennessee.
Yep.
Much lesser program here. And one thing he said here, man, the nutrition program is far and above what we had.
From what he came from.
And that comes from
Chattanooga.
A huge, great school.
Is that where he's at? Cleveland? Somewhere around
there? Yeah. So it matters, right? It's about, just like you're saying, is having these kids understand why they eat certain things.
Right.
Why you eat a certain amount of calories, why you have a certain amount of protein, why you drink a certain amount of water, why you do these things. And somebody like Coach Naismith, who his son is a proven product of him, right? Went through his own injury, which we were devastated with, man.
We were excited about that.
We love that kid. We love Gage. But you know what he didn't do? He didn't feel sorry for himself.
Worked.
He put the work in. He already been putting the work in, so he worked extra hard. College scholarship is shorter. Playing ball, man, and doing what he loves.
Coach Naismith just said, and it's along the lines of what you're talking about, said we had our kids give a presentation on nutrition just a couple of weeks ago. So
they had their kids give a presentation.
Right.
Oh, that's strong.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's legit. So going to a school that's less than socially economic is what we're social economics is what we're talking about. That plays a part because a lot of those kids, young men and young women, come out not knowing the benefits of nutrition.
Sure.
Cannot or do not have the people willing to pour money into them. Because let's be fair, there are a few diamonds in the rough, and I use that term loosely because I think there's kids are all diamonds in the rough, right? But they get found by somebody and say, hey, I want to sponsor them. We want to find them their family a job and a home over here in a better area of Birmingham, so they can go to a school with a legitimate move that's going to help them further their education and their sporting careers. Sure. There's a few of those that happen, but for every one of those, there's 200 that don't get found. So
isn't that why school choice is so important?
That's where I'm going, and so speak to that a little bit if you don't mind. I mean, because I think that's a great really segue to school choice.
Sorry, my phone just keeps turning off. It's haunted. I don't know what's going on with it. So
if you can afford it, or get your kid across town because you're responsible, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So if I'm here in Rainbow City and I really want to go to Hoax Bluff for whatever reason,
sure.
They got a great football or basketball or ag program.
Or Glencoe right now.
Glencoe basketball.
Final Four boys, congratulations.
I'm out here in Coates Bend, or I'm out here in Riddles Bend, and I can't really afford whatever to get over to Hoax Bluff to go, or Glencoe to play basketball. But that's where I want to go. You still got to find your way over there,
You
right?
do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't provide transportation at all. So here's the thing. When it comes to athletics, it's going to come down to what the association decides to do. Can those kids go and play? I'm hearing no. From what I'm hearing from the association is you're going to follow our rules. It doesn't matter. You still got to follow what we do. And if you do school choice and say you live here in Rainbow City, you decide you want to go play basketball at Glencoe,
right?
You got to sit out your first year, which is no different than it is today. Only thing difference is, they're going to, the government, the state's going to pay a tuition to go to private schools and those kind of things, to go to a Westbrook, a Coosa. We got another private school here, don't we? Episcopal.
And I think there's a Catholic school over on
is that St. James?
411, I believe. I believe that's right.
Yeah. So to go to those schools.
All right. So
holy God,
what's the matter?
No, not a matter. This is for educational purposes, Jeff. This is a 1A in Georgia, a 1A school weight room. It's better than Jacksonville State.
Bro,
it's better. It's nicer than JSU.
That's nicer than Westbrook and nicer than JSU.
Well, it's right at it's on par with.
Hey, I'm telling you,
it's on par with Westbrook for sure.
Right, so if with social economics, and look, I'm for capitalism, right? I believe everybody gets out there and works and makes their own way, but I do believe there's people that need to have a hand up, not a handout, but a hand up. Let's help them get to a better place in their life. Say, for instance, a kid, and when we tend to focus a lot of times on baseball, basketball, football with what we do, right?
Sure.
And in this area too, in Alabama especially. But what about a kid that goes to a lower income school that is good at, let's say, for instance, we were looking at discontinued sports yesterday for the association. Archery is one of them.
Yeah.
Say, for instance, a kid is raised out of rural America. They don't have the money to put their kids or start an archery program, but this kid is actually good. There's Olympic sport. Archery is an Olympic sport.
Sure.
Shooting is an Olympic sport. There are schools that have that. And there's a school within 20 or 30 miles that this kid can go to that will put them in an archery program.
Yeah.
How do we make that work? How do we find a way to get that to that kid?
Let's take athletics out of it altogether. Let's talk about going to a school who offers, a third or fourth or fifth language or
advanced biology.
Yeah, something that your school don't have. So no difference here than you're playing football or going for education, right? And look, Gadsden City, I know they offer classes that some of the other places just do not.
Right.
They were amazing with my niece. My niece went to the Gadsden City, graduated there. She's now at JSU, Tim's daughter. And she has Asperger's, right? And her high school experience was incredible because they had the teachers, enough teachers to be able to make sure she was fine and classes for her and different things like that. So kudos to Gadsden City for having all the academic opportunities that a lot of places don't offer.
I see where Gadsden City and Ray, congratulations to your daughter with She's on a cheer team, and they
cool.
have a cheer team for special needs, and it is an awesome program. They were just featured on one of our major news networks.
Heck yeah.
And
You got Ray Freeman?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, cool.
And
I didn't know that.
It was so awesome, man. It was one of the, he said, man, I'm so proud of her, and you should be, because they work their tails off. But they offer programs like that other schools don't. That people that need that and that are not less than that they could excel. You know, my niece, we had no idea. We got a message the other night that she was, or a few nights ago, she was dressed up in this dress and going to look like a prom. But through the school system there in Springville and through some other organizations there, she was able to go to a night to shine that Tim Tebow puts on over 800 different locations throughout the country, Jerry. Without being in a place where can, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking, where can these younger people, these people that maybe are in a lower income area, how can they find that? You know, how do we find a way to get these things to reach them? And I wish that's where we would come up, maybe us or some other people that are watching or go back and will watch. I wish people could starting foundations and organizations to help those kids find those types of things.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
No, it does. I mean, money makes
the cost, right?
And money makes the world go round. Let's be fair. Money makes the world go round. And what programs bring money into the schools? You don't think football does?
It does.
It does.
It does. It absolutely does. What about the pay to play policies, right? For instance, go ahead. I mean, you can.
No, so we don't have one.
Well, I mean, you know, a lot of schools require student athletes to pay fees, like for uniforms.
Oh, sure, yeah. You do fundraisers,
travel,
and
participation or whatever. Do you think that creates a boundary for some of these lower income schools and organizations?
Well, the ones I know. Sorry, I just got a text from Scott Hassel.
The judge?
Yeah.
Does he want to buy something?
No. He was letting me know that the passport line's really low. I got a hookup up there, you know. So thank you, Judge Hassel.
It's low today. Let me call it.
It's loaded, exactly right. It's loaded up. So I think most schools do a great job of giving the kids opportunities whose parents can't afford to pay for it. They can't afford to pay for it. Okay. They do have all these fundraising opportunities. Mm-hmm. Strawberry sales going on right now at Coosa Christian, and they're fantastic, by the way.
Sure.
We got a whole flat coming. I don't want me to do the flat strawberries, but
give them away. Give them a chop.
That's normally what.
Feed them to Kelly. There you go, baby girl. There you go. Just helping you, man. I am helping you out.
Somehow I figured
I'm going to do a fundraiser with chocolate. I need to follow that fundraiser with chocolate dip.
Absolutely. That's exactly right. Actually, this comes with it.
Oh, does it? Really?
Yeah.
But what about, keep going with that.
No, I'm saying they have different fundraisers for different things.
What about kids? And again, I'm playing that role. Yeah. What about kids? Because I went to Corey. I went to Donahue. I went to Litchfield. And there we were back then when I went to school in the 80s, in early, 2 years in the 90s. We had a lot of lower income people.
Sure.
A lot of lower income people. But we also had some higher income people at those schools at that time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But what about people that can't go out and sell fun? You know, they can't. Their environment, their socioeconomic area that they live in, those people don't have disposable income to purchase strawberries, and they don't have the ability to go out to safer areas or knock on doors to sell those types of things. How do we fix that? And you're about antiquation and those type of things. How do we adapt that for those types of people?
I think if your booster club or athletic club or sportsman's club is worth its salt, you identify those kids and you help them. Right? You find a way to be sure they get what they need. And I know back in the day when it was Jeff Little and Scott Heisman and Scott Baker and that group, Mark Cassidy.
Sure.
There was no athletic club, sportsman's club, fundraiser club better than Glencoe Sportsman's Club. It was above everything,
Okay.
right? They did it the right way. They did it for every sport in the school.
Okay.
They were fantastic. I'm not throwing off on whoever's running it now. I have no idea. I'm not involved. So
You're just talking about what you know.
yeah. So
Sure.
it was fantastic. Same thing with Southside. The Southside band boosters,
Sure.
good as it gets.
So
man.
those groups are helping their people,
Absolutely right.
their kids, student athletes,
Yeah, 'cause
find a way to make it sell.
Because I think sometimes because a kid goes to Southside, well, their family must be wealthy. They go to Southside. That's not the case.
Not necessarily,
right?
no.
I think are there some very nice
Sure.
homes there?
But for the
and
most part, it's
some
not.
wealthy people,
It's
but
a lower
yeah.
middle class area.
yeah, exactly right. So I think there's a perception that you go to a certain school, you know,
Sure.
same thing. If not every Westbrook kid is wealthy.
No.
Right?
Nope.
It's the sign that they get pointed at a lot. Oh, look
Sure.
what they got, look what they do. They work really hard.
But we also know families that work a second job to pay
make sure-
only tuition.
Absolutely right.
That's a fact.
And the W Club at Westbrook does a fantastic job.
So when we were kids,
Mm-hmm.
we had the candy bar sales, and that's one of the greatest candy bar sales out there for my wife's school that she
still do.
works at in Atala. Sell $1 candy bar, right, or
Yeah.
a $2 candy bar, and those kids can sell that. That's something because they can go to their friends, and somebody's got $1 or two laying around.
Especially those elementary kids.
Right. But you go to a school, let's just, and look, praise God. I mean, there's nobody's faulting a lower income school and nobody's faulting a higher income school. We just have different opportunities. So my thing in this whole subject is just try to find a way to bridge that gap where maybe some higher income schools can go, hey, you know what? Let's help this lower income school.
Sure.
Let's help them.
And maybe some of that's going on.
I'm
I don't
sure
know
it
about
is.
it.
I'm sure it is.
I don't want to know about it.
No, I don't either. But
You know what I'm saying?
I want to know what's happening.
Sure, I'm with you. Yeah. Hey,
Go ahead.
Briggs Freeman's watching. Talk
Brick.
about somebody who worked his
Freak
butt off.
athlete, boy.
Dude, is great.
Knock your head off.
Saw him the other night at where were we at? Kobe's.
Oh, I was going to say probably Waffle House because that's where you always are.
Yeah, but this was anniversary dinner that Saturday.
Spending that Jerry White money. So there's 2 Aaron jerseys. Let's get this clarified real quick.
Huh?
There's an Aaron Judge jersey,
Yeah.
and then there's a Hank Aaron jersey.
What's the question?
And somebody said, I want that Aaron jersey. And Austin clarified, there's 2 Aarons. But I'm thinking you're probably wanting this one. There's a price tag on this
No,
one.
it's not. They're not for sale.
You can't sell. You're not selling these. Even if somebody come to you with a
If your name's not Joe Taylor, you don't get an opportunity to
That's a
purchase
fact
it.
because
So-
we had something that I get a picture yesterday.
Yeah.
We'll just kind of take a break for a minute and get our thoughts about us because we're going to dive back in there. I got a couple of hard questions to ask you and the people watching. Get a picture. This is the newest thing in the studio, and he gets it set up right here
Yeah.
and sends me this picture of this beautiful, beautiful jersey.
Bo Jackson,
And the next thing I know,
Raiders.
10 minutes later, never mind. Never mind.
Well, let me just say, Jonathan Portwood's watching. What's up, man?
What's up, buddy?
Glad you're still alive.
You know what that means.
When Mayor Joe Taylor
I'm glad he's still alive. Too.
says
I don't know what that means.
he wants
happens.
something, he gets it.
Something
So,
happens.
yeah, the stuff in here is not for sale.
All right, hidden cost.
Hidden cost?
You referred to trainers, strength and conditioning.
Sure.
Unless you
Larry Williams?
make sure you don't go to one that's tied to another school that's in trouble. I guess I don't know what the crap that is. Kids that don't have the ability to pay for extra training. How do we? Does that play a role in some of these kids' development and some
Sure.
of these kids' recruitment?
Especially when it comes to technique.
Okay.
I've seen kids make amazing strides on technique because just because you go to a certain high school and you're getting coached, let's take a DB, right? Let's take a defensive back coach. Let's say you play defensive back at Hoaxbluff High School.
Okay.
I'm using Hoaxbluff because I have no idea who their defensive back coach is, right? So I'm not picking on anybody, just hypothetically. Call it whatever school you want to. And maybe you're young to coaching. This is your first, second, third year coaching. Maybe you've never coached DBs before. And part of my son getting a college scholarship is playing DB. how do I know that I'm getting the best possible coaching for him, right? From a, because coaches coach different things. That don't mean you're great at everything you coach, but praise God for coaches willing to go learn and coach something. But then you can get specific, and I'm not talking about philosophy coaching. I'm not talking about how you play a certain, how I want you to play a cover two, or how I want you to. I'm talking about footwork and things that a DB coach really knows how to train to get your technique to be the best it possibly can be. That's a huge difference. I'm not throwing off on high school coaches at all, but sometimes you're asked to coach something you've never played before or you've never coached before. And these coaches are doing the best they can to learn how to coach up these things. But it's going to be night and day difference if you're trying to get to the next level and you only have, you only know what you know. So it's a huge difference to be able to get coached specifically by something.
Brett Tyler Smith says, once again, Tyler Joe going down for the naps, and I can't hear nothing.
Praise God, he's napping though.
Side note, did y'all hear that? Yes. All right, let me ask you. Oh, whoa.
Stop it.
Hear that Craig Ford is changing the city mascot to Red Hat. Big broad statue on top of the UNC. Oh, God, I love this guy. I mean,
I can't.
I don't think there's one better than Brett Tyler Smith.
I can't. I just can't.
He is one. He is.
Y'all go read that post.
He's a freaking gangster.
Can you pin that?
Let me. Yes, I can.
Yeah,
right
pin
here.
that. Hey, Coach Neighbor said, "Hey, measurables matter." He's absolutely right. Wingspan, height, hand size, weight, and depending on what your position is, 100% measurables matter. Technique matters also.
What about schools? You had mentioned it in your last statement there, or just your we call them rants, but your thought. We were talking about coaching. Okay. What about these schools, lower income schools, that don't or say they don't have the ability to pay for top tier coaches to come in and help? Why is that, and how can that be rectified? Let's say
lottery,
an inner city 2A school that has a football program, has a baseball program, has a basketball program. We're just talking about those big threes. Okay, we also know the other sports. Why is it they can't go out there and find a way to pay the money to get some top guys and gals to come in and coach?
Where's the money coming from?
Well, I mean, they have stipends. They all have money from the Board of Education, whether it's a county or a city. So they have the ability to go get it. Should we not be petitioning and going after these Board of Educations to say, free the money up? If this school gets it, if Thompson gets this amount of money, then I'm not saying pay the amount of money that you're paying the Thompson coach, because I know there's bigger responsibilities, more kids, more money coming in. The touchdown clubs or whatever has the ability to funnel some money in.
So does cities, mayors.
How do you fix that? Is there a can you go in and should you go in and put a cap on it? In high school sports, if you're a football coach, this is the top you can make. You can't make any more than that.
No, I don't think so.
In education, you don't think that's something you can do?
I don't.
I mean, you can do it, but should you do it?
No, I don't think so. But then you're limiting a coach of what he can make and how he can support his family.
Okay.
Is it limited with just educators?
Well, yeah, right. At this point, we're talking about high school sports, youth sports, those types of things, and socioeconomic underfunding of schools. That's kind of where we're going.
Sure.
Low income schools really rely on volunteer coaches, teachers,
100%.
with limited coaching experience and affecting their skills and development. So there's people out there, these kids that are probably pretty good, that can't be developed because they have somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about. I can read the lips. Oh, you'll take both. There's you.
What do you say?
You better take out a loan for these jerseys, because this brother is
the only way he's taking them is he breaks in. That's the only way you're taking.
If you break in, you'll be on camera like a mug, 4 or 5 angles. So great. Wow. What about recruitment? And
I'm for it.
This is kind of where I want to lead, because this is one of your favorite things to talk about.
I love recruiting.
Showcases and camps that you referred to earlier. It's a lot of travel money. It's a lot of money to get into some of these things.
And you really didn't talk about travel ball. I mean, how much money did you pay for travel ball?
Too much.
It's ridiculous.
Too much money. And
And I'm seeing what some of these kids are paying for 5U, 6U, 7U kids.
yeah,
It's ridiculous. And I get it. They want to do whatever they can to put their kids in a situation to get the best coaching, to play for the best teams. They looking right. They doing the things. Man, the money in these things is ridiculous. I don't know how you did it.
well, I mean, you work 5 or 6 jobs. I guess.
That's
and
the only.
that's one reason we don't do it anymore. I mean, the sit down. I think with us, we have the opportunity to sit down with our kid and say, is this something that you want to do for a long time? And the answer was not really.
Yeah.
I enjoy it, but it's not something I want to do. Well, then you know what? We're just going to stick with school.
Yeah.
Right.
Then he said, what I really want to do is hunt.
Which
That
is
ain't
more,
cheap.
Which is more expensive than all of it.
That ain't cheap. It ain't cheap to hunt.
Do you think
he needs to get that sponsorship with Skylar Ray?
Man, I'm telling you. Do you think that academics in our environment that we live in now used to, I can't remember what proposition it was, Prop 17 or something, I don't remember what it was called, where people had to make a certain test score to get into a college, and then they end up having all these scholarships pulled away from them.
Prop 48.
48.
Back in the day. Yeah.
Does that play a part now in athletics?
Sure. Yeah.
We're still under the COVID rule where most of these places have pulled away the ACT test, the scores.
I think it's back.
Is it back now?
It's back. Yeah. Yeah. So
does that play a part in sports?
It does. It does. Academically, you still got to make the grades, right?
Okay.
You still have to be the student to get in, and the minimal, whatever the minimal is to get in. What, JSU 17, 18? Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah. So there's standards that academic. There's still student athletes.
Okay.
Student first, although it doesn't seem like it sometimes. Especially with the money a lot of these college kids are making now with NIL, which I'm for, by the way. I love the Wild West. I love how it is. So fun to watch and see who's going, who's actually recruiting, who can do it, who can't. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
What about parental involvement? That's something, you and I have called several games over the many, many years,
Mm-hmm.
and we look at some of these schools these teams that come in from lower income schools, and you look in the stands, you look in the bleachers, you look on the sidelines, and there's just a handful of people that are there, like parents and communities are not really involved in those schools, because they can't, right? I mean, as far as a lot of parents that we've seen, I think of one, and I won't say their name. We think of one that we called not here long ago. We thought, well, maybe they'll travel well, and they didn't travel well.
Surprisingly. Right.
But we looked at the socioeconomic makeup of the school and the team, and realized they probably couldn't afford to make that journey.
Sure.
It's a long journey, a couple hours away.
Yeah.
Does that play a big role in the students performing better and having the mentality of, I've got all these people here that support me and want to watch what I'm doing? Don't you think you perform better when the involvement is
absolutely right?
Better?
And that's if it's sports or academics, right? Same thing, right? You're getting the encouragement, and hey, I'm on this quiz bowl, and my parents are in the stands, and absolutely. What's up, brother from North Carolina? Says hello, brother, and Jeff.
Kurt. What's up,
yeah, man, it absolutely but from a holistic standpoint, what can be done it's never going to be equal. It's never going to.
I'm not looking for equality.
I think school choice is a good option, because school choice is not just about playing ball. Contrary to what some people want you to believe.
Right.
It's not about just playing ball.
Man.
My opinion.
Do some of the school systems and parents of schools that are the more affluent, not all, I'm saying some, do they not want school choice because of that fact? I've heard some things. I'm asking.
Yeah, you've got some schools who will suffer if. God, I got to be very careful. Gotta be very careful with
Use
this.
a hypothetical.
Yeah, I'm not good at that.
And, yeah,
I'm not
let's
good
just do
at
that
that. Let's
today.
talk locally.
No, let's don't. You going to? Do you want me to throw a hypothetical and you fill in the blanks?
School A, right?
There you go.
School A, as Jack Justice, come get your boy.
I'm just saying, man. I'm trying to help you.
School.
Trying to keep
Let's say
pace.
School A has been historically really good program, athletically, report card wise, the whole 9 yards, right? Let's say they've fallen on hard times the last decade, 8 years, struggling with athletics. Yeah, not the powerhouse they once were. Kids aren't transferring in, but the kids who live there can't necessarily go to another school. With school choice, private schools are really going to get an increase.
That's a boost. You see.
I think it's a boost to private schools, because George, he's so funny.
I will call that. There ain't no doubt.
He knows the school I'm talking about.
Let me say Briggs Freeman's comment real quick. But
Okay.
I want you to don't lose that thought. He says having a tribal fan base is everything. Playing with all blue behind you in a championship game versus a team with a couple of red is totally an energy changer.
He's 100% right.
I agree with
and
you,
this is
buddy.
coming from a kid who was very competitive in several sports.
Yes,
Should have won football state championship.
man.
Sorry. So now the people in those schools, I don't think are going to be for it because people are going to go locally. Etowah County kids are going to want to go to Coosa. They're winning. They want to go to Westboro. Look at their facilities.
Okay.
Kids are equally want to go to Gadsden City because of everything they offer. And I can see some kids wanting to go to Southside.
Okay.
That's no disrespect to a Glencoe. Look what Glencoe's doing, right?
No.
So I'm not saying anything negative about any school, but you're going to be a certain group of kids want to go. But hey, this school is really excelling right now. Boys basketball. Look what Coosa did. Big stride. Look what Glencoe is doing. Made it to the Final Four, right? Going to the Final Four in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
Who don't want to go be a part of that? Look at the tradition of Hoax Bluff.
Okay.
Hey, we want to go out there and we want to be coached by Coach Rob or whatever the situation is. All these things. So you got groups that want to do different things, but there's going to be some programs that are going to suffer because kids have an opportunity. They have a way out.
Okay, let's go down further. Let's go back to the elementary school level.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to the middle school level. Kids that are not in sports. A family has their kids in a very low income elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they feel like they're not, even though they feel like they're not getting the opportunities that they should get or would get at another school. How do they feel when all of a sudden 30 or 40 or to 100 applications come into a rural school that has a lot of enrollment, has a lot of money? They get all of these different applications for this school choice bill. Hey, we want to bring my kid and our money to your school. Does that ruffle feathers in a community where they think, hey, we're protected? Now, I guess I could just say it, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not throwing off on anybody. Where certain people may think, I don't want my kids going to school with X, Y, and Z type of people. I mean, do you think that's something that plays a part in the school choice thing?
Unfortunately,
where people think that way?
Unfortunately, it will. Sadly,
Right.
You would think this day and age, man, that would be the least things that's going on.
But it does play a part.
100%. Sadly,
It's disgusting, but it does play
Sadly.
a part. And most of the time, people just won't say it out loud.
that's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
I want to throw off on a topic real quick
ahead.
that we want to talk about later in the week or next week. You've been reading what's going on with local pharmacies,
No.
small town pharmacies, independent pharmacies.
No.
It's a big push, and the bigger pharmacies are about to lay waste to them if there's not something changed on the House floor. A couple bills written. So I got Scott's going to come in from owner of Rick's Drugs.
Okay.
Maybe Mac Butler too. He's presenting a bill that's going to be I don't know as much about it as I should, but hey, it's a very important topic. I want us to see if we can build the audience to listen to it because how many look at Super B drugs? You know, look at Rick's Discount Drugs in Atala and places like that who save people's lives, right? The importance of a small town pharmacy. And that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today, but it just creeped in my mind. Very important topic that I want us to break down by people who know what they're talking about, not you and I.
And that's the bigger pharmacies trying to drive out the little pharmacies.
It's big pharma, making it almost impossible for the little pharmacies, the independent pharmacies, to stay alive. So we want to shed some light on that if we can.
All right, real quick, and we'll be done, or we'll go to whatever you want to. What about equal opportunity initiatives? For instance, what about the government or the Board of Education, state Board of Education, implementing policies that ensure equitable access to facilities and resources across every school when it comes to athletics? Is that something that you see that could happen or should happen?
I don't think it's possible, right? Who determines where the money goes or how the money's spent in a school?
Well, I know for a fact that a school that we're involved with has presented time and time again, and then presented last year a beautiful plan for a new baseball field that has been needed for decades upon decades upon decades. And when the former superintendent of that school system was there, they said, yes, we want to present this, we want to have it. And now they've got a new one, not here locally, right here anyway. Now they've killed it and said, you're not getting the money. You're just going to play
really
in the cow pasture you're at. So it is.
I thought that was a done deal.
Was when the last one was there, but now it's well, we got to put money elsewhere. So you've got a team that possibly this year could make a little run. Last year definitely they could have, but they don't have. They're a rural area, very rural area. Don't have the access to. They're making do with what they got because of the community, but they don't have access to it. They're a lower income school because they have a lot of people that come in that live in rural America and rural Alabama that go to this school. But they also have some good money that comes to that school, but they're considered a lower income school.
Wendy's
not getting the money.
Sorry,
what is it?
Wendy's money.
Wendy's. Oh. Yeah, I don't think they get that anymore.
Oh, they don't?
I don't think so.
I think
they're all old. And
I didn't know.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
So that's funny. Gutledge says it's getting harder to find my kids' medicine these days. I was driving to Huntsville for a short time. Dang.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
Again, I'm not. Hey, Woody, I'm not
That's
super
crazy.
up on what's going on, but I was in a text exchange last night with Scott, and he is graciously gonna come on, and it's being presented like every pharmacy. Hold on, let me just read something that he said so I can shed a little bit of light on it. Again, not what we're talking about. He says, basically, with independent pharmacies over the past few years, a lot of medications we are under reimbursed for the costs we pay for the medicines. That's the patient's copay plus what the insurance pays. We go underwater. We have 2 bills in the Alabama Senate Committee. We are praying one of them makes it to the floor for a vote, and he's going to come on and just talk about it in more detail. So every pharmacy, all the local pharmacies, the small ones, are closing at 1 p.m. next Tuesday. And they're all going to go to Montgomery. So we'll try to have him on before then. Apparently it's something going on that I wasn't aware of, you wasn't aware of, but it's a big deal. Because look around, these pharmacies are the ones sponsoring the little leagues and the different things, right? It's the local mom and pop pharmacies who can't compete with the Publix, the Walmarts, the Walgreens, the CVS's, the national stores, apparently. So Mac is on board, so he's got a good person champion the cause.
Real quick, let me give a shout out to our sponsors, Bailey Fawcett Design. If you guys need anything multimedia done, she can do it. Take pictures of weddings, videos, those types of things. We want to say a huge thank you for always being there for us, Pierce and Pierce Attorneys at Law. answer Jerry's text today. Twin City used cars. These guys have been taking care of us for a long time, and that is Bobby Ledbetter and team. Lil Burton's Jamie Grant and his family just always been on there from day one. The Etowah County tip line, Sheriff tip line, get the app. Trent Thrasher Construction, that is the man. And another one, Fully Loaded roll-off service. Man, that is so cool.
They got a special deal going on.
Do they really?
They do.
Yeah. Go check that Facebook page out and get that special deal from those guys. Thank you guys for always sponsoring us. But real quick for me, the question I want to ask you, does money buy championships?
Yes.
And I'm talking about high school sports, not college. Does money buy championships when we're talking about the truth of high school athletic funding?
Yeah, no, it doesn't necessarily buy the championship. You still got to play the game,
sure.
Right? And talent matters.
Does it help?
100% it helps. 100%.
70% of that help. Does it help 70%, 80%, 90%?
Well, I'm
still gotta play the game, but
I'm a big fan of 72% of stats are all made up.
Yeah.
So the number I'm gonna give you, I have no idea of knowing.
Pull it out of your butt.
It's a high number because equipment matters. The education part of, hey, am I drawing up plays on a whiteboard, or do we have a nice system where we're showing live game film and I can stop and we got all the technology to make it easier for you to understand? Okay. All those things matter. The better equipment. If I got, if you're wearing the most incredible pair of Under Armour shoes, right? Your team got the nicest Under Armour shoes, and I got not an Armour shoe.
Looking at my shoes.
It matters, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you wearing Hey Dudes or What's Up Cousins? It matters. So yeah, man, it matters. 100% matters.
Another hypothetical. Mm-hmm. If you take the Coosa Christian team, the guys, okay, and again, I'm not asking you to take anything away from the student athlete, especially these young men, but if you have this football team, and you take this football team, and you take them away from the coaches that they have, the facility they have, and you take away all the players at a McAdory, and you place the Coosa players at McAdory, as it stands now, not McAdory of the day. I'm talking about McAdory now.
They still got nice facilities.
Or Tarrant. They got a new football field. We know that.
Yeah. No, we broadcast. We that turkey leg.
It was way up there. It was good. And Blake, when he come up there with it.
So
do they still win? Not with the coaches. The coaches are gone. It's who they have, the facilities they have. Do they still win? Like they're winning? Are they dominant?
That's not apples to apples, because the competition they have to play against is different. From a standpoint of you're taking the 27 kids at Coosa and putting them in a much larger program.
60, 70
yeah,
kids.
you know what I'm saying? It's not necessary, but I understand your point where you're going through. It matters. Coaching matters. Facilities matter. Coosa should have won the state championship last year.
I knew that was going to work its way in there.
Sorry.
That's a great topic of debate, man. I love hearing your insights on that kind of stuff. Ooh. It's just it's tough.
My wife don't. Hey, dear.
It's a good thing she don't watch the shows.
She does watch.
Oh, she does? She goes back and watches? Mm-hmm. She does?
Yep.
Man, she must love you.
No, she likes it for her pastor. Not for me.
That's a bull. Well, no, that's a buttery bull.
Well, she loves the pastor's wife.
Facts. That is a fact. All right, guys. We will see you really, really soon with
tomorrow.
some great stuff.
Gonna be tomorrow?
Yeah.
We ain't playing golf Friday.
No, that's not going to happen.